This is an NBC 10 News podcast.
My guest today, Mayor Don Grebien in Pawtucket. Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Gene, always a pleasure. Great to be here.
Well, what a year you've had.
Yeah.
I have to say, you're up. Look, you have a good demeanor. You're upbeat about it, but you had a tough year.
Yeah, listen, being here as many years I have, right, we've had our challenges, absolutely, but we've persevered through them. The most recent one I know you mentioned earlier was Hasbro.
Yep.
Right? It's a clear loss to the state, to the city. We know that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, with the new CEO, with the past CEOs and executive team, we always had a great relationship, working relationship.
He passed away.
Yep. And even the people prior to this one. This new CEO came in and, wasn't Rhode Island centric, had a vision, went with it. We couldn't get in conversations with him, even to today. And again, he has every right to do it, Gene, but even to today, we've been reaching out constantly, the governor, mayors, speakers.
Still?
And we're trying to have a conversation as to when you're leaving, what is the next use with the building, they own it, and we have some thoughts and ideas to maybe help market it and what we could do with it. And to this day, I read in the paper a couple weeks ago, they made a comment about their leaving at the end of the year, but we can't get them. Our commerce directors, nobody is hearing back from them.
Well, what do you think that about? The rap on this guy was that he never really liked Rhode Island. Maybe he thought it was too small a place. He was a little more of a Boston, New York guy. They're going up to Boston. You want to call him out? I mean, they've been a company here for a long, long time, and you can't even get them on the phone to say, when are you leaving? I lost the fight. Could you give me a little courtesy?
Right. I mean, that's where we're at, and it's frustrating.
Yep.
But more importantly, I'm really concerned about the employees, right? Because they still don't know, right, what's going to happen. And they've got so many loyal employees, whether they're keeping them, going, you hear all the rumors. They need to come out and just be honest. They're going. We have to accept that. That's their business. They're a private business. But let's move on and start working together to see, is anything staying?
Yep.
We don't know. What can we do with the building? Those type of things.
Well, I was just going to ask you, what's going in that building? It's an odd kind of a building.
Yep.
It's not high. It's a volume. You got a lot of volume over there. What would you put in there?
So it all depends. So you've got two buildings. They have the executive suite, which could be almost anything. It's small and up to date.
Okay.
And then you got the other 300 and some odd thousand square foot building long. Could be residential. We need so much affordable, right? The city of Pawtucket's moving forward. We're above where we need to be, but need more. Could be live workspace. We have a lot of artists in the community, and we want to promote that. It could be many things. It could be a hub. I was talking to somebody today, where they do the food, the incubator spaces for food and for businesses. Anything, but we need to understand what they're going to do with it, right?
You got any irons in the fire?
I mean,
anything
people are talking.
That you could break a little news here? You
No,
got
I wish
somebody
I could.
on the hook?
No, we've been talking to developers, and some of the developers we're talking with, because we're moving forward on our Apex site.
Yeah, right.
We're talking to some of those, and we have really some great developers. But they need to get in there, have those conversations, And until they allow us to have those conversations or have them with us, I even told them I'll send a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, if that's what it takes. But
Hasbro owns it.
Yes.
It's theirs to sell.
Correct.
You're the mayor, so you have an interest in what's going in there. You may have some ideas who to sell it to.
But it's private business, just like we've challenged with Memorial Hospital. It's privately owned, right? They own it. We're as frustrated as the residents. We're dealing with that. But people have to understand that as much as they think we hold the keys to everything, we're in there fighting, to protect the city. But if they're not willing to talk, we're stuck.
Well, listen, courtesy is courtesy.
Yeah, agreed.
And
respect.
That's a legacy company. Been here 100 years. However, let me be an honest broker here.
Yeah.
It's a private company, Mayor. They answer to the shareholders, not to you, not to Rhode Island.
Agreed.
The guy running it is the guy running it. He can do whatever he wants to do, and they could sell it to whomever they want to sell it to.
And let me say, Gene, they are a good corporate punch.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at the Hasbro ball a few weeks ago.
Well, that was the old owner. That was Hassenfeld.
But at least they've kept that, and they haven't pulled that away. You know what I mean? So we're very fortunate in that way. And the last thing any of us wants to do is to burn that bridge totally to keep them here. I think they have an obligation to the workers, the obligation to the state in some ways, because I was talking to Speaker Scacchi as an example years ago in the General Assembly. When they had an issue, the General Assembly passed a law to protect them from moving out of the state. So what they're missing is, we're small, we're nimble, but we get things done. And unfortunately, it is what it is, and you're right. They can do what they want.
Before we go a little further, I said you had a rough year. You had the ice rink shooting.
Horrible.
And we know the story. I was there. We know what happened. And by the way, we know a little joy came afterward when the young man led his hockey team to victory. So that's all part of the story. Is there anything new you could add to that? Is there anybody doing a review? What happened? Was there any kind of security change? Anything you want to add to the story before we go to break?
Yeah, so quickly, very tragic, right? As a father, horrific. You know, don't know how anybody could do that. But they are doing, you know, the studies. They're looking at the police department to look back and say, okay, could we be doing things different? Could the facility be doing things different, right? They did everything right. This is tragic and, you know, uncontrollable. But could we be doing? So there's a balance, though, Gene, between, you know, making yourself hostage where you go into everything. It has to be a metal detector versus protecting. This was, again, an isolated incident. And you're right. The son that persevered, you know, it was a story, not one that you wanted to really have, but at the end, you know, the community, the teams, and the state came together on that one.
Did you go in there immediately after?
No, they didn't allow us in, you know, because then I become, from a procedural standpoint, I become someone of that's on the report.
It's a crime scene.
Yeah, it's a crime scene.
They don't want to contaminate it.
Correct.
Understand. I may stay with us a quick break. When we come back, let's see what's positive in Pawtucket. And, well, the train station comes to mind. The soccer stadium comes to mind. Let's see what else. Mayor Grebien is continuing one more segment with us. Mayor, just bring me up to date, little lightning round. Memorial Hospital, boom.
Privately owned. They just got approval from the state this past August. They've been in. They're looking at potentially, you know, not officially yet. They started at about 250 units, some affordable units for veterans. So we see a light at the tunnel. A light at the end of the tunnel, but it's still an eyesore in the neighborhood, and we've got to address that. A change is coming. Yeah, there was a change in leadership on the property, in the LLC, and they're moving forward. Long time coming for that. Very much so. Another long time coming. City Hall. Yeah. The Rapunzel's Tower. There was a grand plan to move everybody out, and then at some point go to a new place. What's it? Bring me up to date. Quickly, council approved about a little over a year ago. Facility, we bought it. They're in there modernizing it. It's a brand new building, but we're putting the time in. The first people will be moving out of City Hall probably by the end of this month. By the end of the year, everybody will be out of City Hall into the new facility, other than police and fire. Right. And the city council, who controls property right now, is doing the evaluation as to what we do next with the building. So you're moving out. You're moving to a temporary headquarters. And then it's up in the air still, just like that tower is. If it were up to me and I don't control it, we have to listen to our residents and stuff. We'd never go back. It's not conducive for the operation anymore. It's a beautiful building. We have to preserve it. But let's turn it over to somebody that can preserve it. What would you do with it, Mayor? Well, this is a theme in your city. Right. We're moving forward. What do we do with this? What do we do with that? What do we do with the tower? So we've talked about this, right? And again, we have to get people's buy-in, right? Because it is the people's building. But we've talked about what hotel use, right? We've got a waterfront that's active, tying with the stadium, right? City Hall is not the highest and best use on the water. Across the water side, at the condos, the complex over there, we have $1 million condos in Pawtucket, right? Even though we're still affordable, we have those. It could be a higher use. Those type of things. What about Slater Mill? What about the Interior Department that controls the parks? So, why don't you take that? No, don't want that. That's theirs. They control it. They're doing a great job, and that's history. But you're right next door. Right. No, Slater Mill is going to stay. Yeah. But you're right next door. What about asking the federal government, hey, why don't you pick this place up? It's right here. We've had those conversations informally with Senator Reid in White House. Okay. And under the current administration, we're on hold. You think if we were a little nicer to Donald Trump, you might get some action on that? I would say this is interesting now. Go ahead. So, no, if we were nicer or if it was a Democrat in charge, yes, we'd be better off. Oh, so you have spoken to the feds about, why don't you take this off our hands, but it's not going anywhere. Yeah, not going anywhere. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? And we've asked them for some money to put back into it, right? Because we've got about $80 million of it to rehab it, to bring it back to its original condition. Yeah, and we don't have either. Oh boy, that's politics. The tower of politics. All right, Mayor, on the bright side, new high school. Yeah. Right? Our schools are moving forward. We finally have some competent leadership in our new superintendent and school committee. We see forward moving. We've invested millions of dollars, but the high school's on time, on budget. And it should be open by the end of 2028. December of 2028 is the scheduled date. It's big. Yeah, it's going to be big. A lot of kids. Yep. Now, let me just throw this out here out of left field. You know, everything has changed. Every kid, no matter how poorly they do in school, can navigate that laptop, boy. They run circles around it. Yep. Is this notion of sending thousands of kids to one central building where they change classes and walk around, just like you and I did almost a long time ago,
that still a viable way to do this?
So from the professionals,
Yeah.
absolutely it is, but we're also investing in career and technical because that's where we need to be go. So
Right.
have them job driven. We'll be having those type of programs. There's different models and different styles that they'll be using inside the school, but it does consolidate a lot of our costs with the older buildings that haven't been invested in. So yeah, it will.
But, I mean, like, not much has really changed. Big buildings, thousands of kids, they go, take the bus. It's 2026, AI, everything, and
Right.
yet it's an old model. Well, we'll see. Mayor, and across town, you have your soccer stadium?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
1 minute, go ahead.
Go. Great. You know, we are committed. They came in,
Yeah.
they're committed to doing a lot of things. We're moving forward on the development, as I was saying. We've got 60 units of approval by the council for development for affordable. We'll be in front of the council in the next couple of months on a 350 plus unit agreement with a private developer in them. So the commitment that we made in the development happening, we're close to wrapping up the financing for the bridge and all of the infrastructure. That should happen over the next couple of months. So things are moving.
And just take 30 seconds here. When I was up there for the shooting, I was walking around that old train station. It was never torn down. You have a new platform. That's very good for your city. It's bringing people down from Boston.
Very much so.
This is the other side of affordable housing, isn't it? People there made a lot of money. Their values went up. That's a wealth transfer. I know you're talking about affordable housing, but the other side of the story is that neighborhood over there. It's doing pretty good.
Very much so, right? And that's why we're still very fortunate. We're in Rhode Island. We're like the most cost-effective place to live. And we're balancing it, right? We still have people that have needs. So, but that train station, we're working with Amtrak because it goes over the track. We need them in partnership, the old one, to demolish it.
And you're running again. You want another bite at the apple.
Yep, absolutely. So I've been here. I hope people will re-elect me. So thank you.
All right, I'll have you on the radio to continue that.
Appreciate it.
And your opponent. Mayor Grebien, thanks for coming in.